students up here are absolutely amazingly talented. I am Miss Nonman. I'm probably a very familiar face to, or not a familiar face to many of you. This is my first year in Chillicothe. I am one of the middle school music directors alongside Ms. Kavanaugh, as you may already know. And these students up here, this is of course jazz band. We get together every single school day for about 40 to 50 minutes during their third hour. These students choose to be here. They don't have to be here. They have to come to class if they choose to be in class, but they have gone out of their way not to only be in their 7th or 8th grade band, concert bands, but they also came out of their way to join another band ensemble. In jazz band, I mean, it's incredible to get to work with these kids, being one-on-one with some of them, and most of them have not been in jazz band before. This is their first year. This is their first semester. We all started together in January when we came back from winter break. So the milestones that they have made in such a short time is absolutely incredible. I know, like, thinking about the very first day, some of them were kind of hesitant. They're like, well, what am I going to learn in jazz band? I don't know anything about jazz band. And some of them were like, I don't know if this is for me. But in the end, maybe I'm talking for them. I think they're amazing, and I really think they picked up on it fast. So in jazz band, we do a lot of improv, which is just kind of making stuff up on the spot. And that's, I would say, an advanced technique. This is something that none of them came in being like, oh yeah, I know how to improv right off the bat. So that's one thing we learn. We do music history about jazz band, and they just learn different techniques and breaking the concert band norms of playing soft and gentle. Now it's like loud in your face kind of stuff. So some of the kids were like, I'm gonna play this note like in concert band, and I was like, no, be mean. Like that's what jazz band's all about, is just branching out and being kind of crazy and fun with it. So I will stop blabbing. I will now go ahead and introduce the first piece. So the first piece is called Orango Tango by Recitals, and this originally wasn't on the concert. Last year, as you all well know, when everything kind of shut down with COVID, the students did not get to perform the pieces that they had been working on for months. And so I had several of the students approach me and be like, hey, this was one of our favorite pieces, and we never got to perform it, and we still have it in our folders. So the next day I came back and I said, well, I found the score, I guess we're playing it, here we go. So this is all on them, Orango Tango. strange kid on upright bass. This is Matthew Manning. He is actually my fiance, but also he is the orchestra director at Chillicothe Middle School in Blue Springs, Missouri. And he took one day, right? He took one day out of his time to come up and work with us in jazz band. And it is not as traditional to have a clinician come in for a middle school ensemble, but these students are not middle school talent. They are beyond middle school talent. They are incredibly advanced in their musicianship, and I would love to take credit for that, but it is completely on them. I only see them for 40 minutes a day. They have spent so much time in and outside to be incredible on their instrument, not only in concert band, but in jazz band. Mr. Manning, he was our clinician, and he came in on a Monday, and he worked with the jazz band for about 3 hours in total. If you know anything about playing an instrument or attention spans of 11, 12, 13, 14-year-olds, like to do something for 3 straight hours is long and taxing, and it's very hard to ask for students to just sit there and be receptive, and this is exactly how they were. They were incredible. They were 100% receptive. The next day I was like, how did you enjoy the clinician? You know, I kind of let Mr. Manning work with them a little bit, and I stepped out of the room so they didn't feel like, oh man, Ms. Nodman's here all the time. Give them just a completely different experience, and it was only positive comments, like it was just a different view. So these students are, I keep saying incredible, but they really are. I'm so impressed by them. So our second piece here is actually a ballad, and if you know anything about jazz ballads, it kind of goes back to that concert band setting. They don't have swing type rhythms. So this piece is called Little Darlin', and you're going to hear several soloists actually. So the first one you're going to hear is going to be Yu-Jung Lee on trumpet in the back, and the next one is going to be Zoe Warren on alto saxophone. So here is Little Darlin'. last 3-4 months of school, and we call it Student of the Week. So some of the students right now have red stands, and we also have a green one. We don't have it out tonight. But some of the students have red stands, and if you've ever been in band or know anything about music stands, you are always fighting to get the best one. So we had 2 brand new music stands. They happened to be red, and Miss Kavanaugh and I were just sitting there, we're like, well, these are going to be the director's stands, you know, nice stands sitting up there. They're like, well, these kids have worked so hard. They deserve to have the best stands. Although it might seem little, to some of them, they're like, oh my gosh, I just want the best stand that's not going to throw my music on the ground, that I don't have to do this with it to make sure it's not swaying back and forth. So we came up with Student of the Week. And Student of the Week is as it sounds. We always look at our students and we see wonderful things in them, and we wanted to showcase that to their peers and anyone who walked in the halls or walked in our room during rehearsal. So how we did that is we take our 2 stands, and each week, either it be on Monday or Friday, we would pick a Student of the Week. And these students, to earn that stand, has to go above and beyond the college duties. Now you can come to class, you can play your instrument, you can kind of just be there, but these students that have earned this recognition have come in for extra lessons, sat through 3-hour clinicians, asked if they could help a fellow classmate, or just went over and helped a fellow classmate, said, hey, read off my stand today, you're missing your music. So things that they don't have to do in class, they've taken their time out of their day to better, not just themselves, but their ensemble. So the following students, as I call their name, they're going to stand up. So I ask that you hold your applause at the end, and we congratulate together. All right. We have Drake Swift, drum set. Eugene Lee on trumpet. Luke Thompson on trumpet. Addie Englert on piano. Zoe Warren on alto saxophone. Landon Peterson on trumpet. Anna Sprong on trombone. Charlie Penniston on drums. Gavin Harding on trumpet. Alton Keller on trumpet. Remington Rhodes on alto saxophone. Jonas Bernsketter on trombone. Jalen Salcedo on trumpet. And Anthony Eckert on alto saxophone. Let's congratulate them. You might be asking, well, isn't that everyone? They're incredible. I would give them the stands every single day if I could. Absolutely, they are outstanding. Our final piece this evening is going to be probably very popular to some of you, and oftentimes played on the radio. 25 or 624. This is originally recorded by the group Chicago, and I would say this showcases the saxophone section, and at first they were kind of timid. They're like, oh no, and they're like, there's only 3 of us, but they are awesome. So really listen into that. We got 2 soloists, Eugene Lee on trumpet in the back once more, and Jonas Bernsketter on trombone. We hope you enjoy, and thank you all so much for taking time out of your day to come and watch and be a part of this with your students. more incredible round of applause. Good evening. It is absolutely incredible to see so many amazing faces out in the audience. Welcome to our first 6th grade concert, or first year band concert, and welcome to our first in-person concert. These kids are awesome. I just want to say point blank, so let's, before they even play, give them a round of applause. Now that I have sufficiently embarrassed them. I am Miss Nodman. I am actually first year in Chillicothe here, and so a lot of you probably are like, who's this stranger? I am the middle school band director and assistant at the high school band alongside Miss Kavanaugh. She went hiding. But I just wanted to start off by saying your kids are absolutely incredible. They not only have persevered through what seems like the craziest time in our lifetimes, but also just persevered through thick and thin at the middle school. We were originally scheduled to have our instrument night where they got their instruments, their big shiny objects that they take home and annoy their brothers with. So they were originally scheduled to get it in September, and then we went virtual for 2 weeks at the middle school, and then we were kind of hybrid and all this kind of disarray. And then 1 month later, we started a month late, we finally got our instruments. These kids got to start near the end of October, maybe middle of October. And so they only had it for 7-8 months. And the milestones that they have accomplished is absolutely incredible. I, of course, could not have done it without, one, their diligence and their dedication to being in band every single day during their 4th hour for 40 to 50 minutes. But also with Miss Kavanaugh's extreme knowledge and experience when it comes to teaching beginners. So in band, we actually split beginner band. We have brass and percussion in one room, and that's who I work with most of the time. And then we have woodwinds with Miss Kavanaugh. So we started our year off a little rocky, but we're ending it with an awesome note. So our first piece, I'm gonna stop talking. Our first piece is Hot Cross Buns. This is a traditional English folk song. And it was brought upon with those nice little English treats with literally a cross on the top of the hot cross buns. So it might not seem too difficult, but this is one of their very first pieces, and I would argue my favorite piece of the entire concert. So here we go, hot cross buns. And it is Montego Bay, arranged by Ellich. Although this piece may look simple to the beginner reader with half note, whole notes, it's actually very challenging. I encourage you to listen back to the percussion. This piece introduces 8-note rests, and if you've ever played music, you know those can be kind of challenging. But a few short months later, these percussionists are incredible. Baja Brief. And many of you probably heard your students practicing it over and over and over. It was one of our playing tests, but also I always have students like, let's play Baja Brief. And so eventually I was like, well, we're going to play it in the concert if you love it so much. And then like, oh, that's awesome. So at first they were really struggling. It has a bit quicker notes, but now they've nailed it and they've got it down pat. Here it is. These two individual American composers wrote the Traditional of Excellence method book series that we actually use to teach instruments and music in class. And so this is one of the pieces from that book. As you all probably already know from the first day your student brought their instrument home, there's always some interesting sounds that come out of the instrument and interesting ways that they put the instrument together. So we kind of wanted to share that. So what show and tell time is all about is literally exactly how it sounds. We're going to show you how we sounded and looked on the first day, and then we're going to show you how we sound now together. Here we go. Here's the first day. Recognize a few outstanding students. If you've ever been in band class and any time in your life, even if it was for 1 week, and you've ever had to use a music stand, you know that good music stands are very, very hard to come by. So we often have students that are like, slow down, there's plenty of stands. They're like, no, I want the one that works, and that's not going to dump my music, and I don't have to go like this to try and watch it. So we had, Miss Kavanaugh and I had these 2 brand new red stands, and we're like, ooh, we're going to keep these as director stands, nice, and they won't dump our music. But then we're like, no, these kids have worked so hard. Not only have they persevered through the strangest time, probably in any other times, but they have been incredible in just picking up the instrument and then performing a full-blown concert just months later. So we have started a new tradition in the last few months called Student of the Week. And so the Student of the Week, we have one woodwind student and we have one brass or percussion student every single week in 6th grade that is recognized for something that they've done above and beyond. And that Student of the Week gets to use the beautiful, amazing, perfect, not broken, red music stand for an entire week. And everybody knows whose it is, so no one's racing to get it. These Student of the Weeks, I'm going to call their name. They're going to stand up, and as they stand, just quickly hold your applause to the end, and we will congratulate them together. Here we go. We have Andrew Schreiner on trombone, Blake Gardner on percussion, Ellie Akery on trumpet, Carter Corona on trombone, Ryan Schuler on trumpet, Landry Marsh on clarinet, Mason Eckert on alto saxophone, Jocelyn Anderson on flute, Sophie Hirchin on trumpet, Aubrey Moss on clarinet, Isabella Leverett on flute, Scarlett Pepper on trombone, Carly Reagan on alto saxophone, Vivian Miller on flute, Ellie Condren on trumpet, Jacob Clemens on percussion, Danica Harkin on alto saxophone, Ava Lance on clarinet, Ashley McCracken on alto saxophone, and Michaela Kennedy on French horn. Congratulations to these student leaders. So our next song is called Banana Boat. This is an old Jamaican folk song. And again, this is one of the songs that was in the book series of Traditional Excellence. The students really enjoy playing this one as well. We start, I believe, getting some maracas and cowbell in there, so a whole variation of instruments and sounds come with this one. And Miss Kavanaugh will be back out here to conduct it. thank you all so much for taking the time out of your day to let us have your students for 40 minutes a day, but also to let us have your evening tonight. Welcome to tonight's concert. Many of you probably don't know me. I'm a new face in the district. This is my first year with the band. I am Miss Nonman. I am the assistant director at the high school and the director at the middle school alongside Miss Kavanaugh. Your students, are awesome. One. I can honestly say that this year has been crazy, and all of you might agree, having this be our first in-person concert. We are so lucky to finally be at this point where we can be together, and these students can show you what they're made of. Walking in after a 6-month break of unexpectedness, and not really knowing when we would come back or how long we'd come back for, and then all of this craziness happening, these students have really persevered. A little bit of background about 7th grade band is there's about 60 members on stage right now. That is record-breaking. To have a second-year group that large. And these students have really put in their effort. I can honestly say that we all kind of pulled each other's hair a lot through the craziness, because originally we were actually not able to perform or rehearse as one ensemble. We had to be socially distanced, and we had to stick very strictly to that 6 feet marking, and if they weren't 6 feet apart, they had to wear their masks. And so now we were able to eventually space out enough, and in only the last couple months, maybe month and a half, we all got together finally as a full ensemble, and were able to start making music together and not apart from one another. So the fact that your students are standing here together, or sitting here together on stage, putting together a concert in a month and a half is absolutely incredible. They have made tremendous strides. They were in the beginning book. They hadn't even finished the very first method book series. And so I basically got them when they were still just beginners. And now I would say that they're intermediate players. They are wonderful musicians, and they really have a lot to show you tonight. I will stop blabbing. So our first piece tonight is Soraka. This piece is by Roland Barrett, and Soraka is a name given to a Mediterranean wind that originates as a dry and dusty breeze. Eventually that wind will pick up to almost hurricane speed. So as you listen, see if you can find or imagine that wind swirling around as we play Soraka. Gentle. It's calm, and it kind of conveys to the listener that gentle dew on the morning grass, or the wind blowing back and forth, flowers blooming. So it's supposed to embrace that springtime feel. So we hope you enjoy our ballad, Water Drops Come Spring. Water Drops was Gavin Harding on trumpet. Despite that piece being slow, not a lot of movement, it is a very challenging piece. Dynamically, these students were stretched to play super, super soft. Not something that you will hear very much in the last piece. But they were also stretched to have a long breath. On our last 4 measures, it says, or last 6 measures, they hold out this big long note, as you all heard, for like 32 counts. It's crazy. But they managed and they did awesome at it. So before I continue on with that last piece of the concert, I would like to have a moment to recognize some outstanding students in our band. Each week, we started this tradition about 2 or 3 months ago, where we had these beautiful red stands. You can see them in the percussion section. They are very, very nice stands. And if you've ever been in a band classroom, ever, you know it's almost impossible to find a good stand that's not swaying back and forth or dumping music on your lap. So we started this new tradition with our brand new bright red stands. And this tradition is Student of the Week. So either Monday or Friday, we award 1 or 2 or even up to 3 students, if we feel deserving, of that Student of the Week spot. And those students get to use those stands for an entire week. They don't have to race to get the best one. They know that, hey, my name's on it this week, and I have the best stand in the band room. So it's a really big deal on that end, but also these students that are going to be recognized and standing here in just a moment have gone above and beyond the college year. Not only have they come to rehearsal prepared and just what they're supposed to do, they have come for lessons, maybe stayed after and helped pick up chairs and stands. There's several of us, and we are the last band to rehearse during the day, and so there's a lot of mess. We have students all the time volunteering to step up and say, hey, I want to make where I'm at even better, and I'm going to help out my fellow colleague. If they don't know a fingering on their trumpet, I'm going to share that. So each of these students that are about to stand have really shown above and beyond that they are dedicated to what they do. So as I call their name, please hold your applause to the end, and then we'll recognize and congratulate them all together. We will start with Kelly Hopper on bass clarinet. A little backstory on Kelly: she was not originally on bass clarinet this year, so she did pick this instrument up throughout the year, and it was really incredible having all the craziness happen. She was really gung-ho and willing to do that. Charlie Pennison on percussion. Morgan Orendorf on trombone, Anthony Eckert on alto saxophone, Helena England on clarinet, Luke Thompson on trumpet, Elise Reed on trumpet, Trixie Lapine on alto saxophone, Gavin Harding on trumpet, Lydia Gabrielson on tenor saxophone, Elijah Ferris on percussion, Mackenzie Fleener on clarinet, Haley Smith on clarinet, Alexis Creighton on clarinet, Grace Mouton on alto saxophone, Kaylin Grauman on tuba, and McKinley Epperson on clarinet. Please help me congratulate these outstanding students. Bearing the foreseeable rain, and also taking your time out of your day and evening to come and support your students and the music program here at UCM, wow, I'm from UCM, at CHS and CMS. So our final piece from tonight's concert is Tango Argentina. This piece was written by Robert Shelton, and it has a lot of Latin grooves and Latin feels. This gives the students a different type of musical genre to play, and if you're watching closely, the percussion section is very active. They're all on different instruments, and they're all playing different parts. So we hope you enjoy Tango Argentina. tonight's 8th grade band concert. I'm probably an unfamiliar face to many of you. I am actually Miss Nodman. I am the band director, or one of the band directors alongside Miss Kavanaugh at the middle school and high school. This is my first year in Chillicothe, and mine has been a crazy but awesome and super fun year. I can't believe we are closing in on the last 3 or 4 days of school. It feels like just yesterday we walked in and we were just getting to know each other. But your students on stage are incredibly talented, very patient with getting to know me, and also just very dedicated to their art and to their instruments. I'm going to tell you a little brief summary of 8th grade band. So 8th grade band, we meet during 5th hour for about 40 to 50 minutes every single class day. And it's always after lunch, so that's always fun. We're always sugared up, have a lot of energy. So they always come in and we rehearse for those 40 or so minutes. We started our year off kind of unconventional with, of course, a couple days or a couple weeks we had virtual school. Then we went to hybrid and off and on. And then we're also doing marching band during that time. So for the first, I would say, 2 or 3 months of school, we really didn't have any concert band-like playing. It was a lot of just getting to know us, coming back after 6 months of not having band, not having played, and kind of ending their year in an awkward place. So it was a lot of catch-up. But they worked their tails off. They have gone above and beyond. They've exceeded my expectations, exceeded Ms. Kavanaugh's expectations, and they are more than ready. Hold it back. High school. I know, it's crazy. I'm looking at high schoolers basically right now. And I get a little teary-eyed, even though I've only known them for 9 months. I want to keep them because they're awesome. But I will stop blabbing. I will get on with the concert. So our first piece tonight is Celtic Air and Dance. So this piece will feature several different sections, and it starts out slow, then it gets a little bit faster, and it's a nice folk tune, nice Celtic folk tune. So listen closely, watching that percussion section. There's a lot going on, a lot of tricky snare drum rhythms, and a lot of tricky sounds. So we hope you enjoy it. tell you a little bit about the history. So the original song that Robert Shelton arranged was called Black is the Color of My True Love's Hair. This piece is traditionally a folk song, and it was first known in the Appalachian Mountains. And in this region, it was created and developed in about 1915. But most importantly, it originated, we suspect, in Scotland. So this conveys a girl who is waiting for her love to return from sea. So this is Black is the Color with Miss Kavanaugh conducting. and Remington Roads on alto saxophone. So before we close out the night, I would like to recognize some incredibly outstanding musicians in this band. Not only as musicians, but also as people and students, they're outstanding. So if you've ever been in music, and for those of you that have been at the other concerts this evening, you're gonna be like, man, I've heard this 3 times. If you've ever been in music, there's always a race to get to the best stand. There's always a race to be like, oh man, I want that stand, and especially in this group, I have about 5 or 6 students like race in after they dump their trays for lunch and be like, I want this tune, I want this tune. Usually it's the best ones that aren't swaying back and forth, about to fall over, or they're dumping up music on their lap. So Miss Kavanaugh and I had these brand new bright red stands that are like pristine condition. And originally we planned on keeping them as director stands, but then we're like, these students have worked their tails off. They are outstanding. They go above and beyond every single day, and we want our students, even if it's just 2 a week or even if it's just 1 a week, to have a really nice stand and to be recognized for their hard efforts that they do every single day that they don't have to do. So we installed a tradition in the middle school, and it's student of the week. So on either Monday or Friday of each week, sometimes I'm late, so it might be Tuesday or Thursday, we will present the red stand to a student of the week. These students that will be standing in just a moment, they again have gone above and beyond the college week. Not only have they showed up ready to go every single day with their instrument and music, they've helped a fellow colleague pick up their chair or their music, or they've come in for extra lessons. I have some of these kids coming in during the study hall nearly every single day just to practice. And that is not on me. That is totally up to them to come and practice, and they are outstanding. Just so many outstanding students in here. So as I call their names, they're going to stand up, and please hold your applause at the end so you can recognize and congratulate them all together. We'll start with Micah Crow, clarinet. Zoe Warren, alto saxophone. Maddie Tipton, trumpet. Allie West, trumpet. Jonas Burnscatter, trombone. Silas Midget, trumpet. Allie George, flute. Kayla Chapanada, clarinet. Alicia Seaman, flute. Trent Jacobs, alto saxophone. And Sadie Birch on horn. To be completely honest, I wish we had more days and more weeks so I could congratulate even more outstanding students than just the ones that you see standing up here. But again, let's give them a round of applause. As we close out this evening's concert, I want to thank you for taking the time, not only out of every single day to let your students be with us, Ms. Kavanaugh and I, and in band, but also this evening. I know that it's not always easy to etch out, especially late night concerts like these, but we really, really do appreciate your support and the support of not just the music program, but your students. Our final piece tonight will probably be very familiar. It is Pharrell Williams' very popular pop song, Happy. Thank you so much for coming. Let's all give them one more round of applause.